This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz. Very excited to be speaking with Kristen Stewart and Yeun about Love Me. How are you both doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. How has the experience of making this film made you consider your own use of technology in your life?
Mm.
Um, I go on.
Oh, um, I don't know if it's really. I mean, I think I've always kind of questioned the role of how I consume technology, but I don't know if this film for me was like pointed at technology per se. It was more for me about like being aware of being aware.
Oh boy, here we
Yeah,
go.
here we go.
And these are
Sorry.
the conversations we had on
Yeah.
set. Simulation.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where I'll stop.
I don't think it like led me down any like revolution. I didn't try and change my interaction with the internet at large from this experience, but I guess it did. I guess it made me look at the internet a little bit differently for a time. I was looking at a lot of like influencers and stuff. Um, I don't know. I think maybe it kind of led me to, instead of dismissing things that might not seem authentic or seemingly, the internet's full of stuff that seems fake. Fake is like the new F word. It's like, ugh, the worst thing you can be. And I think that sometimes trying to be something that you're not, that's just not like a definable thing. And so there's a lot of honesty in people trying to fake things or try to seem like something they're not. There's transparency there if we can really like sort of take a look at each other and see that we're all just trying to sort of like feel understood and like relate to one another and be also at the same time the same and therefore accepted. It's this weird dichotomy. The internet's like trying to, I don't know, it like encourages you to be yourself, but also to be just like everyone else. But there's not really anything like wrong with that because that means community. I
Yeah.
don't know. The internet, it's like a mind-boggling realm to swim around in, but our movie is basically like a glorified acting exercise in which we talk about this stuff, but then also kind of like, it's like if you say the word chair too many times, you're like, chair, chair, chair. It loses its meaning and it starts to sound weird. And all of our meaning is scrambled. It's like language, even in this movie, is like, what are we even saying when we say things?
Can you do something with that?
Does that make sense?
It's great. It's great. Well, it's also a sort of trippy experience watching, I'm sure for you also, just because, we do see it on screen sometimes, but sometimes you're just the voice of these typically inanimate objects. What was it like getting to watch the film and do you feel as present in those scenes where we just hear your voices?
Um, yeah, I mean, even doing it, we did it next to each other. That was really cool. Like dropping into an aspect of maybe like a rote um, performance that was like a knowing. It was like it wasn't like robotic. I remember when Kristen did it, it didn't feel like, oh, she's playing like this idea of a robot. It was almost like uh, how I felt it was. It was just like something that already knows what it knows and doesn't know beyond that. Um, so,
For
yeah.
anyone watching this at home,
What are you
we know what
talking
we're
about?
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that does that answer your question?
It's a very existential movie.
Yes.
We don't have the
Yes.
words for it.
Yes.
So I think that's fair. Do you feel like it's an optimistic view of the future in any way, or just sort of a bleak thought of like this is what we're leaving and that's all we have?
I think it's I think it's honest. I think
Mm.
there are multiple potential eventualities, and one of them is that we're no longer here because we didn't take care of the place we live.
Mm.
And so at the same time, it's not necessarily even a movie about the internet or technology or the
Mm.
future. It's about people, and that's not like in a way avoiding like the sort of like confronting and real question that you asked, but like it is a relationship movie. It really is kind of about me and Steven.
Mm.
I don't know, because we kind of can't be anyone other than ourselves in
Mm.
those moments. The initial voiceover stuff, I was like, and in watching the movie, I've only seen it like once, but it feels like voice before body. It feels like
Mm.
sort of some sort of physicalized experience, like a sort of real desperate, like calling out, like for connection. And it also feels kind of gendered too, because like the buoy is like desperate and the satellite is like objective and pragmatic. And I don't know. For me, it's just so human. It's not necessarily
Embodied.
making like large statements about the future
Yeah.
per se, but up for interpretation.
That's super well said.
I like that. I think those who have seen the film will really appreciate these answers. Those who haven't will be confused. But
For sure.
such a pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.